So I was getting so many questions regarding postdoc questions, how to apply. So after PhD, what is next, like that. So here today we have Vishnu. He is doing postdoc at TU Berlin in Germany. So he'll be sharing his experience with us. So it will be a great opportunity for PhD students out there. So listen to us. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vishnu, for joining us today.
Thank you.
So you can start by introducing yourself. So from where you completed your PhD, or maybe yeah, you can explain everything.
Yeah, so thank you, Afnas, giving me opportunity. And hi everyone. I'm Vishnu, and I'm currently a postdoctoral fellow at TU Berlin, Germany. And prior to this, I did a postdoc in University of Gothenburg, Sweden. And before that, I did my PhD from University Laval, Quebec, Canada. Prior to which, I did my master's and bachelor's from India itself. Specifically speaking, I did my master's from a private university. Right now, it's a bit people have heard about this Jain University,
Yeah, Jain
and
University,
I
yes.
did, yeah. So I did on a research center they have called CNMS. It's called Center for Nanomaterial and Sciences, and so I did my master's there. And before that, I did my bachelor's from Mysore, JSS College, and all my schooling till my 12th I was in Wayanad. So I'm basically from Wayanad, Sultan Bathery. So I did my whole schooling in Wayanad, then I moved to Mysore, and then currently I'm doing a postdoc here.
So how was your experience as a postdoc person?
As personally, it's a very nice opportunity, like I'm a person who likes to do research. I'm more of a research person than a studious person, I would say. I'm not that studious. I'm not that good with subjects, but I like research. I like the curiosity to know things. So I guess that's what driven me. So while finishing my bachelor's, I wanted to do a master's in chemistry. So I decided I want to do something which is related to research. That's when I heard about this CNMS Jain University. So they had this research program where for the whole 2 years of masters, we could do research after the classes. So we will be assisting PhDs or postdoc. So I did that for 2 years, and that really changed my thing so that I understood how research works. It's the curious part. And then later on, I decided, okay, maybe a PhD could be a good thing. But then again, not being that studious or not being that thing, I knew that cracking net or gate could be a difficult task for me. So I tried few times, but literally didn't work for me. So I decided maybe I should apply abroad for PhD positions, and then I moved to Canada, getting a PhD, and that's how the whole journey started. Just pure curiosity to do research, and that led me to do my first postdoc also because I wanted to do something again on research. Then again, my second postdoc also something like different from what I was doing previously. So it's just curiosity, pure curiosity and passion to do something different.
Yeah, right. So you know the difference between doing PhD and doing postdoc portion, right? So what do you think? Which one is better? Which life is good?
I guess there are so many aspects for this. So I always considered like PhD as like more like 50 percentage of manpower, which we are putting for like a specific project. In some cases, it will be different because in some cases, people go with their own projects and they develop. But in another 50%, it will be like a professor has a project. We will be a part of that. So we will be putting 50 percentage of manpower for that project. And the 50 percentage will be that new can corners or like new ideas which we input into the research. But when you enter into a postdoc, it's a new area. So you have the, um, let's say, the freedom to try new things. So you will be like really going with a project. Let's say my professor, my previous professor in Sweden, he had like a position. So he told me like, okay, this is the position we would like to work on this area. I reached there, and then over discussions, we ended up having few more other ideas, and then he was very open. He was like, okay, you get something, you come to me, we discuss. If it's in a good way, we will go forward if the ideas are good. So that gave me more of freedom in the research area. So that helped me to read a lot, get new ideas, explore more, and I started like getting more freedom of doing research. So that's a huge difference, I would say, like, because PhD is something we have a criteria. Let's in PhD you have a criteria of like finishing these many articles, or like these many courses should be done, and then you need to get a degree end of like 3 or 4 or 5 years, and there is a set pattern of things that has to be followed also. But when you come into postdoc, there are no criteria. It's like the more you do, the more interesting things you can do. It will be a different world. So I always think a research career very well. Someone's own research career that starts when they start the postdoc, because they will be having more opportunities and freedom to like explore more areas what they want to work on, or like some new ideas which they could like create on. So that's something, a huge difference between PhD and postdoc.
Yeah, right. Which means you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, right, right. So are you supervising any PhD students though? Any students though?
Yeah, so during my PhD, when I was on my last years of PhD, I had like new students were coming in, so I had to like supervise them at the beginning and then pass on the ideas which I was continuing the, and then give some ideas, and then let them, they will be continuing the project. Even it happened in my first postdoc also. So like I had like a few students though with whom like we used to discuss. I guess I would more prefer like rather than calling a student, I would more prefer like I have like more colleagues whom we work together.
Yeah,
So let it be like a bachelor's or master or like even a PhD student. Like it's more like an collaborative thing, I would say. Like, so there are few things which I don't know which they know. So I would say like more than I having a student, I guess I have been able to like collaborate with much people so that the work goes forward and the ideas flow.
yeah.
So it happens. We have like people coming in talking things and like discussing. So that has been happening a pretty lot.
Yeah, right. It's generally different, right? When you come out of India, so we
Yeah,
won't see the students as students. We just see them as colleagues. Yeah, you're right.
exactly. Yeah,
And
I
what is
remember
your
like
research? Yeah, okay, please.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
So I remember when I first was moving out to Canada, I remember like my one of my professor who was back in Bangalore, like where I did my masters, he told me like, Vishnu, you're going abroad, you will be having colleagues, they will be postdocs and PhDs there, you will be a new person there. You don't need to call them sir, call them their name.
yeah,
I was like, no, we have been used to call the PhDs or the postdocs or everyone, hi, sir, good morning, sir. So these things were happening. So he literally told me, you can't do that. So you have to be like, treat them as a person of you and they will treat you the same way. So, and that literally changed the whole way of we looking at things. And I feel that's the very good way, because when we are more onto a colleague level, that's when we can discuss more openly. And that's very nice, I would say.
yeah, right, right. So what is your research is about? I forgot to ask that.
Yeah. So currently I'm working on a reticular chemistry. So recently the Nobel Prize which happened for like metal organic frameworks
Yeah, yes, Morph,
for
yes.
chemistry. Yeah. So I'm working in a nearby field called COF, covalent organic frameworks.
Yeah,
So
right.
I started doing this from my PhD. So during my PhD, I did COF hybrids for photocatalytic CO2 reduction and things. Then later on, I moved out of North America to Europe because I wanted to do something on fundamentals of these things. So I moved to Sweden to do a bit of fundamental studies on COF. So I tried to like control the degree of interpenetration, which happens in 3D COFs. And then right now I'm working on like incorporating cages and like other molecules like macromolecules into the curves. So I prefer doing more of fundamental works at this moment rather
Yep.
than like looking a bit towards the application side, which I have done in my PhD. So I like to play with the fundamentals. Maybe it's good to know both the sides.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. Yeah. So I'm also working 2D materials
Yeah.
in graphene oxide.
Yeah, nice. I remember like in my PhD, I had like worked with a COF graphene oxide, reduced graphene oxide composite. I guess that was my first PhD paper.
Oh.
Yeah, COF and reduce graphene oxide for CO2 reduction. So yeah.
Yeah, mine is like I'm making some membranes, fabricating
Yeah.
membranes for water treatment applications.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you make something often like let's say just early graphene oxide membrane or composite of that, or just
not
like
composite. It's like yeah, we will modify the graphene oxide,
yeah.
but around 90% will be graphene oxide itself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
nice.
I'll be making yeah, combination of different raw materials, and
Mhm.
yeah, I will make new membranes for water
Mhm.
treatment, ion selective separations, like that.
Okay. Something also towards desalination also.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my third project is purely desalination.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So next one is actually next question. I think most of the people want to know the answer. How to apply for a postdoc position?
Yeah. So uh, let's say so I could start how I did. So during my PhD, when I was on the final year of my PhD, I was looking for opportunities. So I was looking at all those. I just go into the university websites, go find people who are working on my areas and see if they had positions. And I was doing that. So I had like been sending mails to a lot of people, just like how I did for my PhD also. It's so I had like been contacting them. Later on, I understood, okay, it doesn't work on that way. So maybe I should like wait for when they have an opportunity, or just mail them with my CV and my ideas. And if some opportunities comes up, if I'm good enough, they may contact me. And that's how like uh, one of the advertisement was there for someone like from a professor in Sweden. He wanted someone who works on cough, and so I applied. And the funny part is that I applied and I forgot that, and after 5 months I got a reply suddenly saying
The
that
five
okay.
months.
Yeah. So I applied on an beginning of April or something of 2022. Yeah, 2022. And then September or something, I suddenly got a mail saying that, hi, we have looked at your application. We would like to have an interview next week. Are you okay? I was like, okay, fine. That's good. That's a good news. Then I had to backtrack to find what app, like which application I did, what was the advertisement. So then I had to make a few presentation, like a short presentation. Usually they ask for like a 10 to 15 minutes of presentation, what we have done,
Yeah.
like previously in our PhD, and then what is our ideas going forward, what we want to do. And so it was like in a half an hour interview session, and then it worked out from there. But from there, once I reached Sweden, that's when I understood, okay, if I want to go forward, just only looking at applications when there is a position coming out won't be a good idea. So I need to start applying for grants. That's when the Marie Curie thing I heard about. So I thought, okay, maybe I will apply. So I applied with my professor back in Sweden with that. And unfortunately, that year it didn't work out for me. Like 2023, maybe like that fellowship didn't work out for me. So I was okay. Now it became that okay. Now I need to try again, because that's how it works. Because when you apply for the first time, you don't know how exactly things are working. What's the template? Okay, there's a set template, but how well you can write it. That's when you get into this. Because when I applied for the first time, the cutoff was 93 percentage, and
Mm.
so it was not an easy task, I understood. So next year I had to apply, but because of these guidelines, I can't apply from Sweden itself. So I mailed a professor, like my current professor. His name is Arne Thomas, and he is from TU Berlin. So I mailed him saying that, hi, this is me, and so and so and so and so. This is my CV, blah 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 blah, and I would like to apply for this specific scholarship. And so he told replied me saying that, hi, so good, and do you have some ideas or something? So I told like, okay, I proposed one of the idea which I had, and then he told, okay, this looks interesting, maybe we should work on it. And then that's where like I started like reading about it, writing a whole project, and like I made a proposal, and fortunately it worked out the next year. So and that's how it happened. So I guess like that grant application stage could be good in terms of our CV, in terms of us also knowing how well we can write a project, how well we can like get the project into table. and like how well we are thinking also, because when we write the grants, that's when we understand our drawbacks and our highing points. So we need to work a bit on that, and it's an interesting journey then.
Oh, right. So which means you tried it two ways, right? One is yeah, an advertised position, and another
Yeah,
one is mail into a professor by asking his support to apply for a grant. Is it?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
do we have any other ways? So just asking if
I,
you know.
mm, I don't think, because usually see in postdocs what I understood is like for PhDs there are like two ways. Let's say either you can directly mail to a professor and if there's a project you can get in,
Yeah,
or if there's an advertisement, that's when we apply and we can get in. The third way is like the universities will be having, like let's say, which happens like in US, I guess you can write GRE and other things, and you get into the university, and after spending 1 year or like 9 months in different labs, let's say 4 5 labs in US or like in the universities. I guess it happens in UAE also in some universities,
yeah,
if
yes,
I'm
UAE and USA as well. Yes.
yeah, so they do this way, and you spend like almost 1 year in different labs, and then you choose which professor you want to work on.
Yeah.
So these are the ways in PhDs. But I guess in postdoc, the whole like power lies in the hands of the professor. So if he thinks that okay, this person is good enough for me to do this project, it works. Because we are already established as like doctors, so you already has started your research career, you have been established as a like early career researcher finishing your doctorate. So
Yeah.
now it's more about how well you can align with the projects or the ideas they have. So I guess it solely lies on the hands of the professor. Or else it's like writing these grants, but for all those grants which we are writing we need a host professor. So the host professor is a very important person. So whenever you get an idea, we need to discuss with the host professor, and there it begins. So it's with the professors, I would say.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And next question I want to ask you that so what is your plan? Maybe I think I saw the next advertisement for postdoc position. They usually mention like if you have maybe more than 2 years of postdoc experience, you are not allowed to apply for this position. So what is your plan after this then? So are you planning to go to academia or
Yeah.
R&D, research and development in industries? What is your plan?
So yeah, so at the moment, I'm aiming to be like get into academia. So because now this is my second postdoc, so by the time I finish, it will be 4 years of postdoc, and I
Yeah.
already spent like almost 4 to 5 years of PhD. So I guess like my research career has been almost like now 9 10 years now from the time I started from my master's. I guess yeah, I
Yeah.
started my master's in 2016. So yeah, it's almost like 10 years now. So I guess now the plan is to get into academia, and I know it's like a very competitive area.
Yeah, right.
Academia, getting into is like really hard job, I know, because the positions will be different and the specifications are very different. So each universities or each department, they need a person who works on a specific field probably. So that won't be an easy path, but at the moment my plans are like to get into academia, because as I told, like the thing that drives me forward is like curiosity just to do research. So I'm a very like I was like an average student who scored like 70 75 percentage in my plus two, or like even in my bachelor's, or even like on my master's on a private university where people were scoring about 90. I was just like an 82 83 percentage person. So
We are almost
I know
similar
like
then.
yeah, so I'm not that person who is like a who can't score marks. I know that. That's my thing. So maybe the only thing that took me this far is just the curiosity or like the challenges I have. So like every day I get new challenges. That's what I like in research. So every day I go to the lab, a new reaction, new problem. I solve it the next day, another problem. Every time it's a new challenge, which is very interesting. Like so that's the whole point of me doing research. And
Yeah.
I like teaching, but I don't know whether I will be a good teacher or not. But
Maybe you
I
can
like
become a research
teaching.
professor then.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to be like in a good academia where I can like have like good like people around me, do some good research, and like move forward from the
Yeah, right. And
yeah.
do you have any advice to give PhD students or master students when they apply for PhD position or postdoc position? What they have to focus like that?
um, one second. I would say like, see, like to apply right now, the competition is very high. I know, like now there are like more opportunities, more people, and more competition. So I know, just solely if saying that okay, out of passion you can get into a position, that may not be working. It may have worked for me, but that won't be the case. So there should be always that balance between your research career and your academic career. So uh, having good scores is always a plus. At the same time, also try to have a good profile, and then be very specific. I had when I was applying for PhD, I was applying for like a lot of positions.
Mm.
I was just going all around the globe, finding universities, finding professors, and mailing them. And I end up receiving only like one or two replies. So I had made this norm of applying minimum 5 to 6 applications a day, and which I did for like few months. So, but I understood that okay, that's not the way later on. So it's good that we know our area, what we are interested on, so that it's easy for us to generate ideas. And then like if you see an advertisement in that way or through an university, but try to find the areas which we are interested on to work, because I am a person who works on material chemistry. If I'm applying to a lab who works on like theoreticians or like on computational or going to physical chemistry or analytical, I don't know, it will be like so full of me to apply to these positions. So try to find that areas which we are interested to work on. I won't be saying like okay, specifically I am working on this one application or no, but try to make a general idea. Okay, let's say if I'm trying to do it on material chemistry, yeah, I know. So if let's say like me and Afnas want to apply, so we will be trying to look on to something of material chemistry rather than going to like a organic full synthesis, because I guess our area lies around like graphene or curve or something. So there is no much like uh, thing of me going and applying or something on organic chemistry doesn't make much sense. So try to get that idea of which area you want to work on, and always be flexible also. It's not like that there's only one way. Be flexible also a bit, but try to find that niche areas which you want to work on, and then specifically apply, so that your application will be very much, let's say, focused onto one thing, and the professors who is reading your applications, they will be knowing that okay, this person knows about this, and this person is interested because he is reading about it. If I'm not reading about something, of course the other person won't understand how much I'm interested in this. So try to find those niche areas and then go for it. It's always the hard job finding a postdoc or like finding a PhD, but it works. Just you need to like apply.
Yeah,
it's it's
right, right, right.
it's a tough job. Applying and getting rejections, that's a really tough job. But
Yeah, consistency is very important.
yeah, true, true. Because I remember, like as I told, I had applied enough, and I was only getting one or two replies. And sometimes I get replies saying that, okay, if you can self-fund yourself, it would be nice. And during back in 2017, 2018, I didn't had much options, or I didn't had much people letting me know that how to apply also. So for me, the only way I found out was that apply to everyone whomever I see,
Yeah,
mail everyone, be nice on mail and everyone. But then I understood, okay, that way it doesn't work. You have to like find that specific area which you could like really put your heart on and work. So it works that way. And
yeah,
it's a good way also, because there are sometimes, as I told earlier also, there will be sometimes there won't be opportunities when you apply to a professor, let's say. There won't be opportunities, but if that person understands, if that professor understands, okay, you really want to do this, and if your profile are like pretty suiting that for position, they will keep you in mind. There is nothing like that, okay, professors will read the mail and they will delete it. No, they will have this in their mind, and obviously when the position comes up, surely they will think about you. And it has happened also. I have heard this from people like who told like they had applied, and like they were like okay, no positions. After like 1 year or something, these people had like contacted these students back saying that hey, You're still looking for a position. I have like a position out now. Maybe it will be suiting you. Why don't you apply? So
Yeah.
I have heard these stories also. So it's good to apply in that way. And I
Right.
say the same to all the postdocs also when they were applying also, because it's when there is an advertisement and we are giving an interview, it's much more straightforward. But when we are not in that way, it's always good to mail to a professor saying that, okay, I'm this so and so person, and I want to work on this area. Maybe we could try some grant writing. Sometimes the grant writing, like, you may not get selected, but the thing is, like, the professor will know how, like, how well you can write the proposals, how knowledgeable you are on this area, how much you know about the subject. So this will give you some kind of an, like, introduction to the professor with the host. So maybe the proposal won't work, but still they have in the mind that, okay, this person is capable of doing these things. So I always suggest all those people who are I was talking to, I was like, at some point of your postdoc career, it's always great to write a grant, because we will also get to know those things, and it's some way of getting introduced to a professor rather than
Yeah.
being in a conference. We do that for conferences to collaborate. This is another way of doing it also. So
Yeah, that's the advice you want to give to everyone, right?
yeah, just
Okay.
try, be
Okay.
consistent.
Yeah.
And the luck favors,
Yeah.
if you have worked hard, the luck favors you. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think we already shared almost everything, I think. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. I hope this will be useful for the people. And
Yeah.
I would also like to thank Afnas giving me opportunity. This is also like the first time for me also, like,
Yeah.
talking to someone, like, other than in conferences. Like, so this is a new thing for me also, and I'm like so happy like you are doing this. As I told earlier also, it's good that, like, you're giving, like, more ideas to the people. And, like, it's easy, because when I was applying, there are no YouTube channels or things where I could look around and see, like, how to apply for a PhD or how to apply for a postdoc. Now things are very much on social, so it's like it's a good way for, like, all the people who are interested in research or like PhDs or like academia or like industries, any career, to know about more stuffs because of the socials, and it's a very good thing.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Mhm. Thanks a lot.